The Alexander Inn is a really fascinating building. It was originally a wood frame building, consisted of approximately 40 hotel rooms. It had a bar in there, which was kind of unusual for the day. And a lot of some of that's been torn out. We're going to restore that exactly like it originally was, but had a great lobby when you come in, and it's all hardwood floors and beautiful moldings. You think of the austerity of the wartime period, and really this building was pretty slick. Very Grecian classic motif on the front with a long porch across the front and classic proportions, clapboard sided building with double hung windows and a sloped roof. Then it was added onto in 1944, and the building was effectively doubled in size with a concrete block addition, which doesn't sound very attractive. But in this case, I think it's going to work out fine, and it really kind of shows some architectural progression and a different approach to the building in that regard. But there's some wonderful old photographs of, for instance, Dr. Robert Oppenheimer, who was the father of the atom bomb, sitting by the fireplace with his cigarette in the Alexander Inn lobby. So there's President John F. Kennedy stayed there. President Roosevelt was on his way there from Hot Springs or Warm Springs when he died. Was on his way to Oak Ridge and to give a speech, and he was going to stay at the Alexander Inn, which back then was called the Guest House. So just a phenomenal list of people that have stayed there, the presidents and CEOs of companies like Monsanto and 3M and Alcoa and some of the industrialists that actually had the expertise to follow the plans and build the bombs that won the war, won World War II. So some fantastic pictures of General Groves, who was in charge of the war effort for the United States at that time, and some of the other executives and scientists, within the Alexander Inn. So a tremendous list of people that had stayed there. Over the years, it kind of became the social place in Oak Ridge, and was one of maybe the only place in Anderson County where you could get an alcoholic beverage. So there was a bar in there, and an adorable little chapel up the hill behind the building called the Chapel on the Hill. And for years, most of the weddings in Oak Ridge took place at the Chapel on the Hill, followed by a reception at the Alexander Inn. So it has been a tremendous community icon, really, landmark, over the years since it's been there, all the way back to 1942. So we are going to faithfully restore that. We've worked with Knox Heritage closely and going to put a historic preservation easement on the building. It will have to be faithfully restored back to its original look and all the way down to materials. So you don't see very many people doing wood-sided buildings these days, but that's what we'll be tearing off and putting back on the Alexander Inn. So it'll go back in with wood windows, wood siding. We'll restore that beautiful porch out front. The ballroom that was added onto it in the 50s effectively has rotted and fallen in on itself. It's not even safe to walk in there. So we'll be scraping that part of it and working closely with the Department of the Interior, the Historic Preservation Office in Nashville, to come back and build an appropriate addition for the ballroom and dining and kitchen facility. But we're going to put the bar back in there like it was. We're going to restore everything to the fullest extent that we can to its original, including the rhythm of doorways down the halls, all very classic, really Grecian type forms in there that Skidmore used in the design. So very simple, but also very elegant because it's really clean and simple. So an exciting project, completely different from the design of any of our other buildings, as each one is totally unique and stands alone. But by the time we get finished with it, we hope it'll be something that everybody will be very, very proud of and happy to support and come back and live at the Alexander Inn.